Good afternoon, everybody. Just like to say, I'm not sure how well I can follow Micah's wonderful words. But firstly, it's very encouraging. I come from England, which doesn't have such a vibrant Catholic or traditional community as is found in other countries. I studied in America, and to see the Catholic community in America is very inspiring. So it's very inspiring, particularly to meet with people from across the globe, actually, here in Rome. But I've been covering the Synod for the last number of weeks. It's been a very intense, interesting number of weeks. I won't go into particular on the Synod because we've had many other speakers who have elaborated much more succinctly and given more precise theological analysis of what's happened in the last few weeks. But I wanted just to give a brief comment, really, on the importance of the truth, basically, because I think those who oppose the truth often do so in a way by basically trying to ignore those of us who are trying to promote the truth, to protect the truth. Because even if you attack those who promote the truth, you're still going to give them publicity, and we all know any publicity is good publicity. But the best way to just hide the truth is just to completely ignore it, and that can get a little bit. It can get to you sometimes if you're working tirelessly, if you're spending time, money, and energy making sacrifices with family and friends, and you really do think, what is the point of it? Because they still seem to be progressing. But I did experience the importance of promoting the truth in an encounter I had at the Synod. A few days before the Synod officially started, there was the customary meet and greet with all the Vatican press corps for the new cardinals. And amongst the new cardinals was one Archbishop Christophe Pierre, who now cardinal. Of course, all the Americans will know far better than I do. He's the nuncio to the US. Quite rare now for a cardinal as a nuncio. But this is the man who, for a long time now, has turned a deaf ear to the pleas and the prayers of Catholics who have gathered outside his nunciature every Saturday morning to pray the Rosary for the freedom of the traditional Mass in light of Traditionis Custodes. This is the same prelate who has attended, promoted heretical organizations like the Association of US Catholic Priests. And this is very much the individual whom Pope Francis is tasked with enforcing his talking points, his, dare I say, agenda in the US. So I thought it was very important to try and meet with this cardinal and ask him some questions. But when I entered the room, it was quite a different reception to those who had gone before me. I was last in the queue. I entered with some other English-speaking Catholic journalists, and we didn't quite get the same warm reception as was given to the secular press or the liberal Catholic press. They had hearty handshakes, lots of laughs, jokes. It wasn't exactly the same when I walked in. Because we walked in, we had to introduce ourselves by organization. And as soon as he heard that I was from LifeSiteNews, he started what my mother would probably refer to as an argy-bargy. I'm not sure if it's an Irish or an English term, but anyway, it's in my vocabulary for better or for worse. And I was recording the conversation, and he started by asking me to explain what LifeSite was, and I tried to explain, and I got about 5 words in by starting to say that it is a news organization, and he cut me off. And he cut me off every single time by inquiring what LifeSite was, what it was that we were covering, why were we covering the news the way we were. And it was particularly focused on our coverage of the Pope. And he asked me at one point, what does LifeSiteNews say about the Pope? And I responded, I think we give an honest appraisal. And I was about to proceed, and he cut me off. And that was the second last question. He then asked me, do you know why I'm asking? And then he ended the conversation. He didn't allow me the chance to interview him, which I think served to show me that no matter how tough at times it seems to promote the truth is uncomfortable for those who don't like it. And no matter how much they're going to try and avoid it and attack us or just completely belittle us, wash over our efforts are not going unnoticed in the sight of God, and ultimately this is a spiritual battle. And I think this is something that we probably all experience in many different ways. For those particularly who've been active in the pro-life movement, active doing pro-life witness on the streets, whether it be rosary rallies, silent witness outside abortion mills, and so on, this is something that we're not unaccustomed to. But I think going forth from this conference, where we've heard the testimony of so many speakers giving the theological analysis, the real-world crises which are happening in so many different countries, the responses that we have to bring to those, I think it's just important to remember that the truth, firstly, always wins out. And secondly, as the speakers have shown, it is an honor to fight for that truth and to really promote it in the church today. And so I think that is the main takeaway from me from this conference, that we must always stick to the beams of the cross, because that is where truth is, and that is the symbol of hope and life, which, no matter how hard they try, the opposers of truth can never hide. Thank you very much.